300,000 years ago, somewhere on a sun-baked plain in East Africa, something opened its eyes for the very first time and it looked exactly like you. Not a monkey. Not an ape-man. You. This is the story of the morning our species woke up, and the terrifying, brilliant, world-breaking day that followed. But here's the question nobody tells you the answer to: what actually makes a human, human? It's not walking upright, our ancestors did that 2 million years before us. It's not tools, or fire, or even big brains. Something else happened. Something switched on inside our skulls. And when it did, everything on this planet changed forever. Rewind 7 million years. Africa is changing. Ancient forests are drying into open grassland, and our tree-dwelling ancestors are being forced down to the ground. Standing on 2 legs isn't a leap of genius, it's survival. Seeing over tall grass. Spotting predators. Carrying food. It's the first tiny domino in a chain that will eventually lead to you. For millions of years, dozens of human-like species share the planet at the same time. Homo habilis. Homo erectus. Homo naledi. Neanderthals. It wasn't one straight line to us, it was a crowded, messy family tree with many branches, and most of them led nowhere. Homo erectus was the first great traveler, leaving Africa almost 2 million years ago, reaching as far as modern-day Indonesia. They controlled fire. They made hand axes. But they didn't paint. They didn't bury their dead with flowers. Something was still missing. Then, around 300,000 years ago, in a cave system in modern Morocco called Jebel Irhoud, bones appear that make scientists stop in their tracks. A skull with a rounded brain case. A flatter face. This is, as far as we know, the oldest Homo sapiens fossil ever found. This is the morning we're talking about. Picture the scene. Awa opens her eyes. The sky is the same pale orange it's always been. The wind smells the same. But today, for reasons no scientist can fully explain, something in her mind reaches further than it ever has before. She doesn't just see the horizon, she wonders what's beyond it. This is the beginning of what scientists call behavioral modernity, the mental software upgrade that separates us from every species before us. Symbolic thought. Language complex enough for grammar. The ability to imagine a future that doesn't exist yet, and plan for it. Awa turns to Tar, the eldest of her group, and points not just at a lion in the distance, but at where the lion was yesterday, and where it might be tomorrow. That single gesture is revolutionary. No other animal on Earth can do that. And with that spark of imagination comes something even more powerful: fear of things that haven't happened yet. Death. Danger. The unknown beyond the ridge. For the first time, a creature on Earth can lie awake at night, not because of a sound in the dark, but because of a thought in its own head. But imagination isn't just fear, it's the birth of hope, of story, of meaning. And meaning is the most dangerous, most powerful tool our species has ever created. Within a few thousand years, a blink in evolutionary time, early Homo sapiens start doing something no species had done before, making things that serve no practical purpose at all. Pieces of ochre, a reddish mineral, carved with deliberate crisscross patterns. Symbols. Art. Decoration. Beads made from seashells, found hundreds of kilometers from any coastline, prove something remarkable: trade. Networks. Strangers exchanging objects with strangers, across distances no single lifetime could walk twice. Language explodes in complexity. Not just grunts and warning calls, but grammar, subjects, objects, tenses. The ability to say the lion that chased us yesterday will come again tomorrow, instead of just lion, danger, now. With language comes something even bigger: culture that outlives the individual. A grandmother can now teach a skill to a grandchild who will teach it to their own grandchild, 100 years after she's gone. Knowledge no longer dies with the body. It becomes immortal. And where there's culture, there's ritual. The first deliberate burials appear bodies placed carefully, sometimes with flowers, sometimes curled into a resting position, as if sleeping. Humans are now the only species on Earth that mourns the dead on purpose. Around 70,000 years ago, something forces our ancestors to move. Maybe climate. Maybe curiosity. Maybe both. Small bands of Homo sapiens begin walking out of Africa, following coastlines, crossing land bridges, chasing horizons their grandparents never imagined. They aren't alone. Across Europe and Asia, Neanderthals have already been living for hundreds of thousands of years, stronger, tougher, better adapted to the cold. For a time, our species and theirs share campfires, share tools, even share children. But within a few thousand years, the Neanderthals vanish. Not overnight, slowly, quietly, absorbed and outcompete by a newcomer with sharper tools, tighter social networks, and a mind built for imagining tomorrow. It's one of history's great unsolved mysteries and one of its greatest tragedies. By 45,000 years ago, humans reach Australia, crossing open ocean on rafts, navigating by stars they've only just learned to name. By 15,000 years ago, they cross into the Americas. In 100,000 years, a single African-born species has covered the entire planet. Deep inside a cave in modern-day France, 40,000 years ago, someone crouches by torchlight and paints a horse on the rock wall. Not to eat it. Not to hunt it. Just to make it exist somewhere it hadn't existed before. This is the moment imagination becomes permanent. Handprints, stenciled in red ochre, appear on cave walls across the world: Indonesia, France, Argentina, thousands of years and thousands of kilometers apart, all saying the exact same thing: I was here. I existed. Remember me. Music is born. Flutes carved from bird bone, found in caves in Germany, 35,000 years old. Someone, somewhere, decided that sound itself could be shaped into something beautiful, for no reason except that it felt good to hear. This is the real superpower of our species. Not strength. Not speed. Not even intelligence alone. It's imagination shared between minds, story, art, music, ritual, stitching thousands of strangers into a single, cooperating tribe. That's the technology that let 7 billion of us end up here. Every single person alive today, every language, every religion, every skyscraper, every rocket ship traces back to that same spark. The same waking up that happened in Awa's mine 300,000 years ago, on a plain in Africa most of us will never see. We are still, in every meaningful way, that same creature. The same brain that once feared the dark beyond the firelight now fears the unknown of tomorrow's headlines. The same mind that painted horses on cave walls now paints on screens. Nothing fundamental has changed, we've just found new caves. So the next time you catch yourself imagining a future that doesn't exist yet, worrying about it, dreaming about it, planning for it, remember, that's not a flaw. That's the oldest, strangest gift our species ever gave itself. That's Awa, still wide awake, 300,000 years later, inside your own head. If this is the first time you've thought about where you actually came from, welcome. This channel exists to keep asking questions like this. Subscribe, and next time, we'll go even further back, to the ancestor we share with every ape on Earth, and the branch in the road where our two paths split forever. Thanks for watching. Stay curious.